Hi there, and welcome to another episode of Can't Stop the Growth. I'm your host, Chad Peterman, and today we are going to be talking about setbacks. And can we categorize these as rather stepping stones? Ultimately, everything we do, we need to be moving forward. If we view something as a setback, oftentimes we've got to crawl out of that hole to get back to even ground and then continue to move forward. So I've got some strategies in here when it comes to bouncing back or really finding those things that are going to help us move forward. I share a story in here related to something that could have been viewed as a setback, but that at our company, we're using it to move forward and really catapult our success in how we actually did that. So hope you enjoy and take care. Obviously, when you struggle with things that are bad that come up, obviously we need strategies for bouncing back. So how to get out of a rut, how to get off of a place where we don't want to be. We know where we want to be, it's just hard to get there. And to me, there is nothing more challenging than when it comes to mindset and you get into like a bad mindset of like, this couldn't get any worse, and getting back up on into that positive mindset. So a couple of things that I found that really help. So obviously last weekend, we're up for this award. I wake up in the morning and I'm like, I after playing sports, and having games that start later in the day, like it's like I want everything just to fall in line throughout that day, so that you got all the good vibes going through this. So wake up that morning, everything's going good. I go down, practice on stage for the first time, giving this speech, which I'm nervous. Like literally the day before, during one of the breaks of one of the sessions, we go up. They're like, all the finalists come up here. We're going to go through how we're going to actually do this on the day of. And I kid you not, I got up there and like they're just talking about tomorrow. And my heart's about ready to beat out of my chest. I'm like, oh my, this is not going to be good. There are a lot of people here, and I'm going to get up there and I'm going to bomb this. This isn't going to be fun at all. Nothing like looking like an idiot up here. And I've literally, I had to go sit down. I'm like, I haven't felt this nervous since playing a big game. I was struggling a bit. But next day I wake up, everything's going good. Practice went better than I thought. I'm like, okay, we're heading in the right direction. Go back up to the room, and I didn't go to the session prior to us speaking. I went up to the room and just kind of practiced, kind of feeling out this talk. And so finally get up, get going. Thank God I went first. I couldn't imagine standing back there thinking about this the whole time because it's nervous enough standing back there. So get through the speech, goes really well. I'm excited. There again, one of my goals this year was to twice speak on stage. So we got one down, which is great. I got one more to go, but that was one of my goals. So I was super excited about that. Everything went well. I'm thinking positive vibes, but at the same time, I'm also in the, while it would be a big accomplishment to win, there's also a part of me that's like, okay, well, it would be big to win, but it's not the end of the world type thing. And so I'm kind of telling myself that. I don't really know why. Obviously, a lot of people are coming up like, oh yeah, I voted for you. I think you're going to win. Like, oh, thanks. We'll see what happens type thing. Well, then we get to the thing and we don't win. And I'm thinking, I'm like, this whole time leading up to this, I've told myself, not a big deal. Just, it's an award. It'd be fun to win. That's awesome. I go literally 180 and I'm depressed beyond all get out. I'm like, this is awful. I can't, this is so embarrassing. I don't want to do that. What's going on? To the point where I sat down, I went down to the bar, got a beer. I'm like, Jesus, this couldn't get any worse. My day just, it was going so good. Everything went great. And now I'm sitting here going, this is no fun. And I haven't truly felt like that since losing a big game that we were playing or something like that, and you got all these people that are watching and you guys lost and you're supposed to win or something like that. I'm like, I don't like this feeling. This sucks. Like, I'm getting too old for this stuff. My heart's hurting. I'm just isn't good. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, Jesus, dude, get a hold of yourself. But I literally felt like that. And so as I'm sitting there just kind of watching some of the basketball that's on TV, different stuff like that, I'm thinking to myself, okay, this has happened. Now you can either sit here and be a big baby, or you can try to learn from this. And so over the course of that evening into the morning on the flight back, I'm kind of decompressing from the conference and writing my notes and kind of my game plan. I uncover that what you have, any event can be viewed as any negative event can be viewed as a setback. So there again, as you're working through your day and you have a few what could be viewed as setbacks, those will easily derail you. But what I decided on the ride home was that you can either view it as a setback or a stepping stone, however you're going to do that. And oftentimes that's said, hey, turn a negative situation into a positive, this, that, and the other. Well, that's easier said than done sometimes, depending on what that negative is. So I just started writing on the plane. I just started writing all the positive things that could come from not winning this award. What are all the positives? And so I just started jotting them all down, and I got through about 3 sheets of paper. Well, we could use this as a positive because if we would have won, more than likely we would have been, celebrating and not implementing any of these ideas that we've taken from the conference. A positive was I got to speak on stage. A positive was we probably impacted someone with our message. A positive is we can win next year, and what a great story to tell them that we used not doing this as a means of motivation to implement a bunch of stuff that we learned from the conference. What a story that would be. We could probably impact some people with that story. And so I just kept writing all these positives, and what I came to is really the only negative was me feeling bad. That was really the only negative of the whole situation. So I had this whole 3 sheets of positive things that we could take from this and get better, and I had like one negative. And one strategy is anytime you have what could be viewed as negative, make a list of what could actually be positive out of this situation. I have a funny feeling as I've done this through this week, what I have is a funny feeling that your list of positives, regardless of how negative that event is, will outweigh your list of negatives. And there again, once you can find the positives of it, it no longer becomes a setback, it becomes a way to get better. And we talked about this in the past as far as how we view certain situations, and can you view them in a different light? Can you view them as a means of learning, as a means of getting better? And I think that translates back to what we were talking about earlier with discomfort. Okay, a negative situation, oftentimes it appears negative and it appears as a setback because there's some discomfort involved, like, I don't like that. Well, okay, how can we use that discomfort to move forward? And I think that the ability to, I look at it as kind of growing up to a certain degree of how to handle situations like that. Because as you see with a lot of people, something negative happens, my God, they are done. They have flown off the handle. Nothing good is going to come out of them for the rest of the day. It is just not a good situation. But maturing in our beliefs and our understanding of how things from the outside world are affecting us and how we have control, how we have the choice to view them, to me, is a very, very powerful tool when it comes to dealing with things that could be viewed as a setback. And I look at it too as I do this, the power that was generated from just making that simple list, which took 10 minutes, the power and the motivation that was kind of fostered in me from a negative situation was incredible. And there again, that's the first time I'd ever done something like that. Obviously, I've looked at, setbacks and different stuff like that and trying to look at them in a positive light and trying to shift focus and mindset. But really to just write it down, I mean, it was like, whoa, like I've got some good stuff going. And what I can tell you is that happened on Saturday. I rode home on Sunday, and I've had a really, really, really good week after something that negative happened that could have kind of spiraled into my week a little bit at a time and forced me to, not have as good of a week. There again, control what you can control. When it comes to your mindset, the good thing is you can always control your mindset. You can always control how you feel about a situation, how you view a situation, and how you're going to respond to a situation. The feeling bad about it, so obviously back to the story of, feeling bad, to me that's a good thing. It's a good thing because it means that meant a lot to me. It means that I wanted to accomplish that. If I didn't feel bad about it, then yeah, it'd be tough to turn that into a positive because I wouldn't have had all these thoughts running through my head as to, what I needed to do. And I think feeling bad is good. I think, too, the other piece that I actually took from the book that I showed you earlier, the other piece is making an excuse for yourself. So there again, when something can be viewed as a setback, we've got to get over that. Well, the best way to get over that is to say, well, in your list of positives, well, all of these, I got better here, I could do this, I could use this as motivation. Making that excuse and then taking responsibility for getting better. So there again, if we have something that looks like a setback in our life and we only make an excuse for it, well, guess what? That's probably going to become a setback on down the line. But when we have what could be viewed as a setback, we make the excuse to get over it and to flip our mindset, but then we take responsibility for moving forward and growing from that. Well, then it's no longer a setback. We've gotten better. It's a stepping stone. So I look at it, I wish I could represent this visually, but I always look at it as, if you're here and a setback and you're trying to move up the ladder, you have an event, it's a setback, it moves you one negative. Well, if you view it as a setback and don't want to grow from that. Whereas if you view it as a stepping stone, it's either neutral and you're moving up, rather than if you go negative, then you got to work twice as hard to crawl out of back to neutral and then to keep on moving up. So I always look at it as, I feel like I was telling somebody this the other day about it's kind of like the stock market. Like you would rather have a stock that the lowest it can go is 0 as opposed to one that can fluctuate a ton, even though it may have more growth potential, because you're going to get further down the continuum if you never go negative. If you just bounce and then you just keep on going. So to me, being able to do this, being able to view anything that happens in our life, whether positive or negative, is just fairly neutral. And you can use it as a positive if you want. Customer says no and they went with another company. Well, okay, cool. What can we learn from that one that will make us better on the next? Service call doesn't go as planned, or someone doesn't follow something. What's the good that we can learn out of this? What positives can we take from this? Because more than likely, the negative that you're going to take is just in the here and now. It's not going to change. The negative is right now, whereas the list of positives can grow and can continue to grow into the future so long as we look at that situation in a positive light. The other thing that I wanted to share with you, so obviously I told you that, I made this list on Sunday, I was feeling good, and I could feel just that positivity. And so I wanted to share you what I wrote to Blake on Monday, which was, it was really cool. And just as I wrote it, I was at the same time kind of preparing for this. And I was like, I want to share this because I feel like this is the piece that there again, we can impact others with by sharing this same philosophy. You talk about leading. What if your team viewed every setback as a stepping stone? What if we all viewed them in that light? How much further could we climb? How much faster could we climb if we all viewed these negative situations in a positive light as a means to grow? And so this is what I wrote to her on Monday. Over this past weekend, I was in Dallas, Texas at a conference where I was up for an award. Unfortunately, we didn't win the award, and immediately after finding out, I was very disappointed. I felt like I had let others down, and I hate to lose at anything. However, the one thing I have learned is that you can't get down long. What happened, happened. It's over now, and I can let it help or hurt me moving forward. I'm going to let the entire experience help me. I learned so many things from that experience that will help me move forward. I also accomplished a goal I had set for myself of speaking on stage. You too will experience setbacks in life. I have found that one of the biggest advantages we can give ourselves is being able to find a positive in the situation and use it as fuel to move forward. You never want to take a step back. I really shouldn't call it a setback. You only take a step back if you don't learn from it and make yourself better. Always step forward. So, while, it's easy to find a positive, or it's easier to find a positive, it's far easier to find a positive, there again, when you're doing it for a higher purpose. My higher purpose is one day I've got to be able to stand here and tell her what to do and know that that's what I'm doing myself. That's the accountability right there. Is that, to me, that's the best way to overcome tough situations. But by God, I can't tell her that and not move forward myself. And to me, when we can start to spread this mentality, I'm telling you, it will literally affect your life. I mean, people often come up to me and talk when you're talking business and stuff like that, we talk about the number of people we have, like, oh, that must be the biggest headache. I never want another person on my team, this, that, and the other. I'm like, I'll be honest with you. I am far less stressed with 100 and however many we have, 8, 9, than I ever was with 20. And for a couple of reasons. One, we have really, really good people. Two is everything that we run into is just a way to get better. And the good thing is we've built a team that views it in that same light, is how are we going to get better? Now, the trick is as we add people, we've got to spread that same type of mentality to everybody that comes on board, because we can't have anybody looking at situations and saying, oh my God, this is the worst day worst day ever. Well, we've got to get better today. And the same thing goes for, when we have our board meetings and different stuff like that, and we see red on that board. Well, how are we going to get better? I mean, what happened yesterday happened. What are the things we can do today that are going to turn that green? What are the things we can put in place that are going to move us forward? And there again, as you see, it's all connected in that, what are we going to do to move things forward? Well, that would be a great time to create one of those habit goals that's going to move us down that line. More than likely, that setback or negative situation oftentimes happens because we didn't have a habit goal in place, or we didn't accomplish that goal for the day, and thus a bad situation happened. Well, we've already identified that the positive is going to come by doing those small things incrementally across days. So when we don't do one, obviously it's a time to get frustrated, get down on yourself. But if we view it as, well, I didn't get that done, but what did I learn today? Okay, well, I can use that tomorrow to move forward. Positive attitude is the, for me, one of my kind of tools in my tool bag. I get down very, very few times. And it's just because I've just kind of adopted this thing of, we can learn something from it, and it's not the end of the world, and we'll be just fine. We just got to figure it out. It's not a problem. It's an opportunity. And I know that sounds like goofy sometimes. Trust me, it sounded goofy when I first kind of adopted it. Like, we get it, dude. Opportunity. That's wonderful. Great, but this sucks. Okay, I get it. It does, but. The cool part is we can get better and we may never have to deal with that again because we'll just kind of roll on past it. Or we can view it as a problem, we can get upset about it, and we can struggle to find a solution. What are we going to do? So there again, I encourage you to adopt this. I encourage you to take, take control of, we talk a lot about mornings and taking control of your morning. The best way to get this thing started is to get that stuff rolling early. And then it's far easier to overcome stuff as opposed to, waking up just in the nick of time, getting in here, and it's just, then it's just chaos. Well, if anything chaotic hits you, it's like, well, God, the morning's already sucked, so this is going to suck too. Whereas there again, control the controllables. I can control when I wake up. I can control if I eat breakfast. I can control if I, take some time to write some things down, or I can control if on the way into work I think of 3 things that I'm grateful for to put me in the right mindset to help others. It all builds on one another. And the great thing about it is it all starts with a choice. We all have the choice to view things in a certain light. We all have the choice to get our day started off in the right direction. We all have the choice to help people. So there again, I encourage you, go make the right choice. You can go one of 2 ways during your day. The positive way, the helping way, it's a lot more fun. Trust me. I've went down both paths before. The one where it's kind of selfish and everything's happening to me and I'm unlucky and all that path is going to be a struggle forever. Whereas the path of positivity and wanting to impact others and helping, that road just gets better and better and better. There again, as we kind of close here, I really, really believe in this stuff. It really works. If you try it and you have some trouble, come find me. We can work through it because it is life-changing. And it's life-changing in that when you start thinking positive, there's literally nothing that can hold you back. And your achievement just starts to hit a curve which you can't stop it because it's contagious and you just keep going. And it's a whole heck of a lot of fun.